and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Y'all ready for this?
What's going on, everyone, and welcome. This is Terra Mystica Tuesday League Kiwi edition, and I have the honor of having Felice join me. Want to say hi, Felice?
Hi, everybody.
So this is week 4 of the Kiwi edition of Terra Mystica Tuesday League. So I'll see if anyone's in the chat. Can you hear me nice and clear? Can you hear Felice? Let us know how it sounds in the chat. Okay, so we have these 4 factions now. Let's see if this overlay is going to do it all right. Cool. So, Felice, do you want to break down what you see going on here with the factions and the track?
Sure. Well, so first of all, maybe we should start with, I want to get started, just get us acquainted with Glummy, who's the host for this game. He chose Fjords with the fire and ice scoring, and so it looks like the scoring for this game is going to be the greatest distance between Stronghold and Sanctuary, and so we've got 4 factions: Alchemists, Witches, Nomads, and Chaos Magicians chosen already. They're pretty strong now. I can say they will building both those big buildings and reaching to the far ends of the map.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this should be an interesting game. We have some pass tiles at the bottom. No spade. And not a ton of coins.
Yeah, there aren't many coins here, except we've got 2 coins on the score track. We've got the round 1 Earth coins, and then we've got the round 3 coins for priests underneath the cult track. So is it looking like an Alchemist game to you? We've got all of the pass tiles in the game that score points. That to me sings out Alchemists. Of course, Alchemist's already been put in. So we haven't seen any bids yet, have we? This isn't updated. Good.
I'm not seeing any bids yet. But yeah, to answer your question, I think an Alps game could be pretty good. They could potentially, if they can get enough priests, hit the dwelling round 2, and then the round 6 trading post is usually pretty good for them.
Yeah.
That could be quite good.
Yeah, so I think maybe it would be good, as you were mentioning before, it might be good to explain where we're at in this series so far and how the standings are looking. So I'm going to bring them up onto the screen here. And we'll see that this is the 4th game played. And so not everyone has had their bye. But at the moment, we've got Smoo on the top of the table with 12 points. So he's had 2 wins from the 2 games that he's played. And it's crazy to look at his ELO there. He started off this with 354 ELO, and he has just been climbing and climbing and climbing. So he's at 461. So he started off this series as the lowest ranked player, but he's really, really showing his value and his skill. And then we have...
Yeah. I was just going to say how well he played those past 2 games.
Yeah. I think he's been improving a lot in a very short space of time. So he's actually from New Zealand. Not everyone in this group is from New Zealand. We're really privileged to have people in the States willing to join this league so that the Kiwis can play. So that's great. And we've got Glummy here, who you said this is his home map. And Glummy is sitting on 10 points. Glummy is clearly a very strong player. Does still have his bye to come, though. So he'll be wanting to get a win here in order to to guarantee trying to win this whole league. And then we've got Felice, who I'm so pleased can join this evening. Felice is on 4 points, but this is her bye, so she can come back with a vengeance next week. And Silver River also on 4. And sadly, my boy, There's Life Jim, Steve, he's on 0 points so far, so he's going to want to really prove himself this game. We all know that he's a strong player. We all know that he's got it in him. So let's see what he can pull out here. Anything you want to say about these players that we've got today?
Well, I've played quite a bit with Silver River and Glummy because we're usually up at the same time,
right?
Which is about now, and I can say they're both very strong players. Glummy made it to the top of the arena rankings, I think, earlier this season. He hit number 1 quite early in the season, and that's quite an accomplishment because it's such a competitive players in Terra Mystica Arena on board game.
Yeah, that's really, really impressive. So maybe we should break down a bit more about what we think people are bidding on, what they're expecting to get with these factions, what their initial lines are going to be, and maybe how these pass tiles will break down, because we don't see Priest and we don't see Spade, so we don't see any more of the like explosive round 1 tiles, except for maybe Worker Power, Temp Ship, and the big building. So how are you expecting these pass tiles to break, Felice?
Well, working backwards, it seems like Chaos Magicians are going to probably take the stronghold tile with the 2 workers. They're probably not getting bid right now because they might miss one. It seems to me that, many of these alchemist witches and nomads, all of these could open with the temple. And so the nomads and the witches might not choose to, but it's hard to say which way they're going on that. So I think there's a bit of a risk picking Chaos Magicians, which is maybe why they're at 30. As for the other factions, I mean, alchemists are great here. I've seen them time and time again go all around the rivers on the right half of the map. So A6, C5, A10, E10, G8, A8.
Yeah, really abusing that shipping. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And also the ship tile is in this game, the shipping bonus tile in this game. So, if they can get to 3 shipping quite early, if they can get that tile twice, that's 18 points. That's good. Witches, I've seen them, have successful 3-town games. And so that could be quite high scoring. There's no town bonus here.
Yeah.
5-point bonus here, which is, too bad for the witches. But I mean, I could see nomads, witches, and alchemists. Well, actually, nomads and witches will get a few towns. Alchemists may or may not. Chaos Magicians, I haven't seen them get a whole lot of time.
It's looking like a really tall game to me, because we've got, after round 1 and round 2, it's Temple, Trading Post, Big Building, Trading Post, all of those econ rounds, digs and building out your dwellings, they happen early. So are players going to be baited in here to follow the score track a little bit too hard and not work on establishing their economy more? When are people going to go on these dwelling rushes or mid-game dwellings?
Well, I think after round 2, maybe there aren't going to be, it's going to be a few dwellings here and there every round. With the witches having, if they've built their stronghold, they'll get their free dwelling, get their free sandstorm, So I'm not quite sure where they're going to fit in all their dwelling building after round 2, and whether, in terms of the temple round 3 and then the trading posts, I don't know if everyone's going to be ready to build, say, Water 1 by 3. They might, wait until a little bit later.
Yeah. The other thing I'm looking at here is that, it looks like the pass tiles for alchemists, and I think that they're probably going to get double dig here in the dig round because we don't have any of the factions that start with 9 power in Bowl 2. So that makes the early upgrades really quite interesting if you're going to upgrade next to someone that is going to give them the power that could snowball them through to the 12 power in Bowl 2. So that might mean that, alchemists hope to get on temp shipping. They're not going to get worker power, but they might even go for the ship scoring just so that they can get double dig. Alternatively, they could just jump it and grab the priest and do a little bit of shipping that way, especially if they started on C5, G8, so then they can get to those 2 hexes, I8 and A6 with 1 ship. But this early double dig, I think, is going to be really interesting, and it'll be interesting to see where people are going to place their dwellings with that in mind. Does anyone here look to you like they're at the middle of a leech triangle?
Oh, well, let's see. So you could end up with, on kind of the western large mass, F4, F5, F4 nomads, F5 witches, and G5 alchemists. And then alchemists and nomads might also go H5. So that could be quite nice for alchemists and nomads. And then I think the question is where.
Sorry, you just cut out for a second there. Your microphone is coming in and out a little bit.
Okay, I'll try to move my speaker closer to me. The mic closer to me. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I was just saying that it's, you have a potential cluster on the western island, with potentially chaos magicians starting off at E5.
Right.
And then on the west side, you have nomads at E7, witches wanting to start at F8, alchemists potentially starting at G8. So I don't see that as being as big of a concentration of power.
Right. Yeah.
But I do see, unfortunately, chaos magicians, unless they start out at E5, are going to be getting a little bit less leech.
And here we go.
All right.
We're away. So what do we have? We've got Chaos Magicians, 30 points for Silver River. We've got There's Life Jim, otherwise known as Steve, on Witches for 22 points, which I think is a bit of a good deal here with no color neighbors. No color neighbors at all. And then we have Smoo on Nomads for 23 points and Glummy with Alchemists for 28. So my initial instinct was this is quite early to jump on Chaos Magicians, but maybe they don't have any competition for the cults here. What do you think?
Gosh, I hadn't been thinking about cults yet.
Yeah, I'm just trying to.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to understand why Chaos have been grabbed here. When we know how explosive Nomads and Witches and Alchemists can be.
Exactly. I'm not quite sure either, especially because I know Silver River has played Alchemists a lot and he knows them really well on this map. So I have to assume that, he knows exactly how to value them in this setup. I haven't played them hardly at all, so I don't really want to comment on on the valuation. I've played Nomads and Witches a little bit, and I haven't played Chaos on this map yet. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm not quite sure what the line is here for Chaos.
Yeah, and this can be a really good map for Chaos, especially if yellow isn't in the game. You can see that stretch from E5 through to H3 on that diagonal. If there's no one to take those F4 and G4 hexes, it's super explosive for them. But Nomads kind of annoyingly get in their way. Yes, they're going to be giving them leech and a neighbor, but but they do get in the way. So I would expect to see a D3 start here for Chaos Magicians. They can get to C6, and then they can 2 or 3 ship around the map to B5, A9, D6. So that is something that is good about Chaos Magicians on this map, is the shipping, the 2 shipping potential can get them quite far. And as we see here, Smoo on Nomads, he really gets to dictate a lot of the early leech because he does get the 3rd dwelling placement. So he could consider H5, he could consider C8. C8 would be extra annoying to Chaos Magicians, and he's done that. So C8 is often quite a good hex for Chaos to dig and then grab D6 and have access south to like H7. So we see Chaos actually starting on E5. I presume that they decide, yeah, we really want this leech. We want this early power. What do you think about that placement instead of D3, which would be less power but more expansion?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Well, so the great part about E5 is that you can expand to D1, and that gets you to C3.
Yeah, good
and
call.
So I think both are good, and maybe that also leaves the 2 nomad dwellings out kind of in the cold for a little bit. I don't know if you recall the first game on this map where nomads had no neighbors for quite a long time on this entire island. And, here we know that witches are going to dig E8, relatively early. So that won't happen. It's, the nomads will get their neighbors there. It's possible Chaos decided they wanted to, explore the Northwest a little bit better, especially since witches didn't start on F3, right? So D1, there's not going to be any pressure on D1.
Yeah. What I find interesting in this map, especially when you see black and green and these starting placements, are these 2 little battles going on for F7 and G6. They're both 1 spade away for each of them, and clearly Alchemists would quite like to have G6 so that it gets them connection. But also F7 is a nice denial and its potential for a little 3 hex town without needing a bridge. So it'll be interesting to see if There's Life Jim goes for an early single dig to block Alchemists on one of those 2 hexes. Yes, E8 is actually a better hex for them, but if they take F7 early, then they can still get E8 later. We'll see if he's going to play blocky or not. Or are they both going to try and wait for double dig? And the Earth 1 race as well. I mean, it's such a spicy round 1.
Yes. I'm curious who ends up getting Earth 1, whether, it really is Chaos that gets left out, or whether someone will, take dig first.
Yeah. And I think it's pretty clear here, this is what we expected. Alchemists are on the ship scoring tile, so that to me tells me that they want to try and get double dig. They wanted that 3 power because it didn't offer any more economy other than the 3 power. So they're trying to have tempo here on double dig. But if Smoo wants it, he's got it. So he could take it right now. But Smoo would be missing out on a bit of the leech party if he doesn't do an upgrade here. And potentially tempo on Earth 1. So Jekyll, hello Jekyll. Jekyll's asked who will get priests next 2 rounds.
Well, it's a tough calculation. I think Alchemists, yes, maybe the dig tile, but maybe the double dig, but they could just as well get a priest and maybe go for like a 5 power priest if they're trying to get to 3 shipping by round 2.
Yeah. And I think we've seen Smoo take the double dig here. It makes a lot of sense. It's in the dig round, and it's going to come with a ton of utility points, and it's a denial double dig from the table. Do you think Alchemists do go for the priest here, change their plans, get up to 1 shipping? They'll score 3 points at the end of the round. It only gets them one extra hex, and as I say that,
Oh.
Chaos Magicians have taken it away. Okay, so they're going to want the Priest to Earth, I imagine, for 3 coins.
Yes.
So Alchemists surely have to single Spade here. They still would have tempo on Earth 1. What will it be?
Yeah.
G6 or F7? What would you do?
Oh, what would I do? I'd probably go G6.
It's a bit safer. F7
Yeah.
might get some leech later from Witches and Nomads, but yeah, we see the single dig onto G6. And will they stall for the Earth 1? No, okay. Yep, they're going to do the leech play. I think that's a good move.
Yeah, and the other thing here, oftentimes when Nomads start at H5, they make it really hard for Alchemists to make a town there. But in this case, Alchemists can actually make a town there. This is, this is quite rare.
Yeah, it's super dreamy down there. Like, they've already got their 2 neighbors. We might see a Fire 2 take anyway, or a stronghold there. So they only need 2 neighbors to form that town. And yeah, I don't see Witches taking F7 now. Not at least till next round, but Alchemist could get tempo on that.
So if you're Witches, then would you take F7 and E8 in a double dig? Say if you had the opportunity to do that round 2.
I think definitely, and we might even see Steve hold on to his power here, especially because next round is a dwelling round, so it would also score, being able to place 3 more dwellings out. But he has to ask the question, what is he going to do the rest of this round? And we might see a little bridge down to G9 that would conserve power still, I think, to be able to take double dig. And we have seen a fairly conservative Earth 1 take here by Witches. So, and we know that Smoo often plays without Earth 1. He doesn't mind missing out on Earth 1. He might grab himself a Fire 1. He might even go for a Stronghold here. Because I imagine that Chaos Magicians will get that in their next action. Actually, no, sorry.
Wait, no.
Because they took Priest, they lost tempo. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah.
Will we see the Earth 1 take?
And Witches have temp ship, and so they've already placed their dwelling on D2. They're going to go on G9, and then they'll probably pass. Well, or maybe they'll take.
Wow, the
yeah.
Stronghold.
Look at all that power. Yeah. Okay.
The Stronghold. Okay, yeah. So he really doesn't want Earth 1. So I don't know how I feel about the Stronghold, given that Nomads already have a hex they can't build on. And they're going to be digging down another one. I mean, yes, next round is a dwelling round, but they've only got... I don't know, it just seems an interesting decision here. If they dig E4 to yellow, which is what they would want to do to be able to connect, that's too tempting for Chaos Magicians.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Maybe they'll have to, say, go F3 or something.
Yeah, because even G4 means it's a double dig for Alchemist for 2 black hexes.
Right. And it gets them all the way across that entire landmass and all the way over to F1 and F2. So,
yeah,
that would be very tempting. The, yeah, although it doesn't seem like Alchemists would change up their plan at the moment. Yeah, they've already passed. Oh, okay. So Alchemists have passed. Do you think that they're going to dig, or do you think they're going to try to
grab Priest and do a shipping?
Yeah, go Priest.
They would need to get one more Priest, and Jekyll's been talking about this in the chat. They really would love to get 3 shipping, wouldn't they? And they're going to have 1 Priest income. So I just don't see where the other Priest would come from if they were to go on a dwelling spree. Would it be a 5 power Priest? That would require quite a bit of power. So it might be the double dig. It might be the double dig for Alchemists. We see that Witches... Oh, they're on temp ship. So they've got a lot of power here sitting in bowl 3. I imagine that they're going to take coins before the end of the round and then threaten double dig in case Alchemists decide not to go for it.
Okay. So F3, the witch's flight spots is gone now.
Yeah, and that is actually a really tempting spot to fly because you've got the E4, G4, D1, like all of these hexes that are quite easy for witches to turn green. So do you think we're going to see a stronghold from witches this game?
Yes, at some
You do?
point. Yes. Well, so usually the reason I say yes is because oftentimes one of the witches' towns ends up being in the northwest, like A1, B1, C2, and the easiest way to get there is by witch's flight.
Yeah, yeah.
Here without because E8 is all open for the witches. They could potentially make one town, using E8 and D5 and D4 or F7, whichever they can get. Those are all single digs for them. And then they could also make a second town, in the southeast, right near G9. And so maybe they don't need to go all the way over to A1 and C2. But
Yeah.
I found that both the witches stronghold and the nomad stronghold are really strong on this map for whatever reason.
Yeah, I totally agree. And Jekyll's saying always witches stronghold on fjords, especially with stronghold scrolling. So maybe it's a matter of them waiting till they get on that scroll, because the track looks a little bit awkward for the stronghold. Like round 5 feels like it's a bit late to build the stronghold. It's quite an investment, and you don't really get the economy out of it that you would want. But we might just see, witches ignore round 3 temples and decide, I don't need 2 temples yet, and go for the stronghold then.
Right. So this is interesting. So witches have passed.
With 10
maybe
power. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's possible they want either single or double dig. I mean, at a minimum, they want single dig, right, to get E8. And if possible, double dig.
Yeah. And I think this is also a defensive play too, because if they passed after nomads could just stomp E8 and say, you're not getting E8 or D5. That's quite a real possibility, especially because Smoo and there's Life Gym are friends in real life. So there's an extra layer of rivalry there in this game. And we see the Sanctuary from Chaos Magicians, to be expected. And I imagine it's going to be Earth 1 and Air 2, but see, maybe I'll be surprised. And Worker Power there is quite a nice tile for Chaos Magicians to be able to jump onto.
Yes.
Yep, there we go.
Okay. All right.
And Chaos are getting 9 coins this round from their income. No one else has moved up Earth, very much. So that's a nice boon for them. And I imagine they've got the jump on the Priest coins as well, going into round 3. So they're going to be hitting this cult track pretty hard. They're going to be getting a lot of rewards from it.
Well, I'll be curious. They could add some more priests to the track, or they could use their priests to increase shipping, because they could get more dwelling out this round, right? Otherwise, if they can't dig.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, here we go with the dig.
Yep, there it is.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Oh, they took single dig.
Yeah.
So
I don't think there was enough power for.
They were 1 power off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's great for There's Life Gym. Although, where's the second spade going? Oh, H8. H8. Lovely, lovely. And he's still got 6 power. How often can you say that? Having 6 power after having taken double dig. It's pretty lovely.
All right. And Smoo gets the coins that he needs to build 1, 2, 3, 4 dwellings, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So by taking temp ship, he not only got the power that he needed to get the coins, but he also gets access to E3 and A8.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Actually, and he's still got a stomp, so there's still gonna be one dwelling that he can't put down currently. So many options available here.
An embarrassment of riches, yeah.
Yeah. So I imagine Silver River is thinking now about, do they want to up shipping twice, in which case they would need to grab Priest right now?
Mm-hmm.
Or do they just want to grab the 3 spot on fire or water or something like that?
It'd be hard not to put down a single dwelling at all in the dwelling round.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Especially early on as chaos, know? Gosh.
But even 2 shipping just gets them one hex from this place.
Yeah. I know.
The third shipping does a lot.
Yeah, I completely understand what you mean because, there he goes. Okay, with the extra priest. Yeah, I've been in Chaos Magician games where I feel like, getting that 1 ship or that 2 ship is just so incremental that it's not worth it. But the problem is that if you don't get it eventually, then you're even further behind.
You'll just keep saying that, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Yeah, it's
right,
never
exactly.
worthwhile.
It's like round 5, and you still only have 1 ship.
Yeah. So I think what we're seeing here is what Jekyll pointed out: the lack of priests. Like alchemists, they would love more priests to be able to ship. So would chaos magicians. Not seeing that priest tile in the game has been quite spicy. And we just see a whole bunch of 3 spots here on the cults, but I don't see chaos taking them now because they've gone for this line. And nomads build a stronghold, so they don't have a temple. So this is looking like a good culty witches game if they're keen to play it.
One thing that one decision that Glummy made with the alchemists is, I've seen a double temple opening be quite common here. And he could have gone that route because workers didn't get taken round 1. So that could have helped solve a little bit of the priest problem. But yeah, I mean, there are very few priests on this board.
Totally right. Maybe you look at the round 3 temple and say, maybe not double temple, but in saying that, sometimes the temple round's a bit of a trap. It actually doesn't get you that many points, and it's quite an investment. Often it would be building a trading post and a temple for only 4 points when you're sinking that many resources into it. I think it's great when you were planning to build the temple anyway, then you might as well do it. But I've definitely gone for temple rounds and then really regretted it after having done it.
It's happened to me too.
And it's like awkwardly a bit late for economy, Round 3 is a bit late for something like Earth 2, Fire 1, and sometimes it's a bit early for Water 1 as well. If you can get it later, then it's better. But we'll see what people decide to do there. But we haven't really seen an explosive dwelling rush for alchemists, not like they would necessarily want. Nomads are in a good position on the map because they've got sort of 3 pockets of land, and they're going to get to a 4th and a 5th most likely.
Yeah. And what I just noticed is that Smoo upgraded E7 to a trading post. And, that's going to make it harder for him to build, all 4 dwellings this round. But maybe he's getting ready for the temple next round.
I think also the TP could be about stomping down and putting the landscape down, because that's the prerequisite for their landscape.
That's right.
Yeah, and also getting ready for the temple, so he doesn't feel like his stomp will be wasted.
So where should that go?
Well,
the landscape.
I mean, I would be tempted here just to put it on D4 and make 1 easy town instead of 2 hard towns there. Or you could do some damage to someone. G4, I don't know if alchemists would want to cut through there. But it would be nice to put it... Yeah, here it goes. This is going to be a place where witches will be upgrading. I like it. which is going to be upgrading there. So there's going to be a trickle of coins coming throughout the game. And it gives him tempo in a nice early town. I don't know what town he would want, but that might be coming in next round.
Makes sense. And he has other potential town spots. So it's not like making, that one town is going to limit his town potential. He'll still be able to make 3 towns somewhere, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's totally right. And especially with the stronghold up so early, like we know that stronghold will be a part of a town. It's very hard to block that. Though the one thing that, isn't ideal is he's ended both of these first 2 rounds with 2 open yellow hexes. It just feels like, there's more that he could do there, but actually he's got so many structures already. So just making it nice and easy to expand in future rounds.
Yeah.
So Chaos have got to B5, the Great Escape.
B5. Well, there we go.
So is the C4 hex under threat? Does anyone take that away from Chaos? Alchemists are probably a while away. They would want 3 shipping and upgraded digs for that.
Yeah, I agree. And it's not a key hex for nomads, I don't think. So I don't think it's a big threat, C4. Especially with alchemists not having their 3 shipping yet.
Yeah. I've just found playing this map that C4 and D1, they can be the most stressful hexes. They're often under contention, depending on the matchup. Witches and the grey factions really do like D1 to give them access, connecting the east to the west. And then you have the brown, yellow, and red factions often quite liking C4.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's under threat this game, which will be nice. So let's break down these pass tiles now. So alchemists have passed out with 2 workers still in hand, and they've passed on to the ship scoring. So we might see the priest take and then up their shipping twice. And what else do we have? We've got Chaos on dwelling scoring, so we'll probably also see some more shipping from them.
Yep. Oh, there you go with the priests. Yep.
Yeah. So it looks like everyone's doing their dwelling rush. Well, this round. Nomads have 2 hexes to build on. Chaos and Alchemists are going to do their shipping spree. And is this the time when there's Life Gem Steve builds a temple, or does he go for Stronghold here? He's on the Stronghold tile. I think we could even see both if he can somehow get some coins. He's got 5 coins in power. 17 coins should be able to do the Stronghold and the temple.
Is it possible you're lagging a little bit? Because I saw him just take coins just now.
He just took coins. Cool.
Okay. So the other possibility that I've seen, I'm not necessarily sure I think is always the best move, is to build the sanctuary. But, we haven't talked about this quite yet. We have this scoring, right? I mentioned it at the very beginning and we kind of forgot about it, and maybe we can go back and revisit it. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah.
This happens to me in my games, right? Oh, right. So we have 2 of those big structures already down on E5 and F4. I wonder if the other factions are going to try to hold out and build some of those big structures, farther away.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because once you place it, it's locked in, Yeah. And you can have regret really, really quickly. What I would expect here then for the Witch's Stronghold would be maybe F8, because there is a neighbor there, and maybe planning to use that Stronghold jump ability to get to C2. And if he's feeling really fancy building the Sanctuary on A1, though that's never going to have a neighbor, that could be his long-term plan here.
Yeah.
I would quite like to see a greedy temple here from Steve for Water 1 into building the stronghold so that he can score Water 1 when he goes up to stronghold with the second structure. But also, yeah, priest to air is open here. Priest to water is also open.
Yeah. The priests are going towards shipping, so chaos is already at 3.
Yep.
Believe it or not.
Yep.
And so he's now going to get to A9 and D6 and H7.
Yeah. Silver River's saying, cool, this is a round just to expand and build my economy. Don't worry about the temple. He might get another temple next round after building a TP, something like that. And he's on the dwelling scoring, so this is a healthy play. I like it.
Yeah, and it's quite amazing that he's beaten the alchemists to the river tour roundabout.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me though, because he plays alchemists quite a bit. So he knows how to do this. He's just doing it with red instead of with black.
So we see a trading post here for Glummy on G8. And we see there are 0 coins in hand. Of course, he can, convert points into coins. But is this time for the stronghold? Is this time for, getting a good, solid source of coins every round? Or does he hit this temple round, get Water 1, and have it in hand? Because there might be a bit of a race here to snap it up. I see that Nomads have taken it.
Yeah. Well, Nomads didn't get Earth 1, so it was a lot more imperative for them to get Water 1. But I would think that alchemists also need Water 1. Yeah. And you wouldn't want to see the others take it.
Totally. And looking at like the upcoming rounds, I mean, Water 1 is just going to be so worthwhile to do the double whammy, hit the track, hit the favor tiles.
Yeah. I think though Glummy could wait only because I don't see
and here it is.
Chaos Magicians building a temple anytime this round.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
This feels like quite a conservative play. So alchemists benefit from getting their stronghold out. Not only the 6 coins, they get the 12 power. It also allows them to put out their gloomy workshop, which helps them to up shipping without a priest and up digs. And so we're not going to see any of that for quite a while. Yes, he's guaranteed his scoring favors, both of the 2 that he wants, but the economy isn't quite what it could be. Although we will see what three dwellings placed out this round after upping his shipping. It's just going to be there's going to be a lot of coin conversions for a while to come yet.
So Witches just took a double dig, and I'm wondering where the second spade is going to go.
Yeah.
Oh.
Where was it?
F9. Interesting.
Come on, Steve. Surely it's temple into stronghold this round, mate. All those coins. No. Okay.
Interesting.
He wants to secure his town space. All right. So it's looking like it's 2 towns. In the is that east? Yeah, in the east. But if that's the sanctuary town down there, if it's a 3-hex town down there, then he's going to need to get his stronghold really far away.
Yeah. Well, now that he has a neighbor, okay. How about this? Maybe he builds. No, never mind. That's a terrible idea. I was going to say he could build his stronghold on H8 now that he has a neighbor at H7, and that gets him really far into the corner. But then he'd have to take F9 and G10 in order to make these two.
Yeah, it's just looking like a lot of digs to make that town without having a sanctuary. And putting the sanctuary there, I don't think that's where you want it to go. I think you really you want it to be far away, because it's looking like this little stretch F8 to D6 is where the stronghold should go.
Yeah.
Maybe we see it on D2, but I mean, that won't be part of a town, will it?
No.
So what else is going on here?
Extra scoring really, really changes things, and it's a fair number of points. It's as many points as right. So it kind of changes what everyone might normally do, and makes you do weird things. Like maybe they'll only go for 2 towns instead of 3 in order to get, their sanctuary and their stronghold in the furthest possible.
Yeah, you're so right. It does. It makes it really hard for me just to predict like who's doing well and what is the best play, because 18 points is well more than a town. It's well more than winning 2 cults. So it's really quite a lot. And for witches, if you want to build your stronghold, if you're going to build your stronghold, you build it early just so you get as much utility out of it. And we see Steve take another dig. I'm just not sure about this. It's a lot of power that he's spent on spades that he could be using as coins. Even, I don't know.
Well, okay. How about here's another possibility. He's putting down a bunch of dwellings so that way next round he can build 4 trading posts.
Yeah. We could see that. Yep. And I think one of the things that he's done is that in taking D6, he's blocked Chaos Magicians from that hex. They still are connected, just kind of both ways around the lake, but not the full loop. So Alchemists might be the first faction to do the full loop.
That's right.
It's got to be extra points for that, right?
Yeah. That's the extra scoring.
And we see Witches upgrade on H8 here. And now it looks to me like, Steve does have 5 coins and he's got 6 coins incoming, but he's just blown 10 coins on digs. So we'll see what he does about his coin situation here.
So he still has enough to build his stronghold or a temple or
just one of the 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. So Smoo has stomped down E4. So what's everyone else doing? What's Chaos Magician doing this round after the Dwelling Rush? They're going to be passing out onto what we're about to see. Oh no, they got to E1. Okay, that's very cool. Yeah, they got C3 and E1. Nice. Yeah. I've heard of some really cool no-town Chaos Magicians games.
So the scoring, the dwelling round continues after round 2.
Yeah, this has been the biggest dwelling round. And it is crazy looking at, it's round 3 and it's priest gaining coins from the cult income. And there's 3 priests out there. There's one on fire, one on earth, one on air, not even anyone taking the water 3 spot, which is going to be giving a spade essentially next round, and no priests in hand.
Oh boy. I think this is characteristic of this map.
Right.
Okay, so we saw witches build their stronghold. I wonder where they're going to be flying to.
Yeah, so I6 is the safest play, but it's the least explosive. It's just guaranteeing future connection, right? C2 has the most kind of like expansion potential to dig B1, C1, A1. But with this stronghold placement, it's looking like witches are going to be needing quite a few digs. I mean, they're going to need to dig G10. It's a double dig. It's not the end of the world. So Smoo has passed now. And I missed the fact that he towned up earlier this round, grabbed a coin town. That makes a lot of sense. In doing so, he was on the TP tile anyway, so that was 2 points worth of TP.
Right.
And passes on to worker power. Because all of the scoring tiles have been taken, right. So that opens up the TP tile for someone.
Mm-hmm. And with the TP round coming up next, I wonder who's going to...
Chaos Magicians are an interesting position here because they could grab the TP tile, they could upgrade a few dwellings to TPs, but all the places where they would upgrade are not looking like towns. And all the other places where they don't have neighbors look like towns.
H6 is a possibility for them.
Yeah.
Because they could potentially take H5 with nomads not being there and I4.
Yeah,
I think the problem is that alchemists probably want H4. So that would make it difficult.
Yeah, and they've already got their sanctuary down. Alchemists could probably ruin their day easily if they upgrade their digging, which we expect to see in the next 2 rounds, I'd imagine. And Chaos have passed onto that TP scoring. But Silver River's looking really healthy on the 60 points already, you know?
Yeah. Wow.
The dwelling scoring, Earth 1 paying off big time here.
Okay, I6 to witches.
Yeah.
To secure their connection.
Safe play.
Yeah.
I like it.
Me too, because you never know when one of your opponents is going to just decide decide they want to sever your connection, because now it could be a difference of 12 points if going from 4th to 3rd in connection, right, with both the fire and ice scoring and the regular network scoring.
Yeah, it's huge. It's just it's such a big swing, and I find that this really does favor the network factions. People that can abuse 3 shipping can get out a lot of structures. So, yeah, Chaos. Where do you think they would put their stronghold? H7?
Oh, I mean, E5 is pretty close to the middle of the board, so yeah I think it'd be H7.
And the same issue really for nomads with their stronghold F4. Where do we see a sanctuary for them? A8 and 2 stomps, something like that. I don't know.
Well, maybe A12, but they don't have a neighbor there yet.
Yeah, I mean that'd be pretty cool. They'll get style points. Just a lone sanctuary over there would be awesome.
Well, I wonder where they're going to put their 3rd town, right? Because they still have 3 sandstorms left, so they could put their 3rd town anywhere.
Yeah, and to me, E3 into F2 or F1 G1 is looking quite nice because Chaos have jumped to E1, so they've got a neighbor there. And there's obviously 2 yellow hexes, a brown hex which is an easy dig, and then just a stomp on the black hex or the blue hex. Yeah. And that actually also cuts down some of Alchemist's late game expansion potential because they've nearly hit all of their natural hexes on the east. There's just A6 to go, and then they're going to have to go digging, or they're going to have to explore around that tip D1 and go southwest. But if nomads are already there, then there's not going to be as many opportunities for them.
Right.
So what do we see? We see Glummy with 0 coins. So really feeling the lack of a stronghold here going into, it is round 4. Glummy is on the big building tile. It is 1 round earlier than the big building scoring. I don't think that's a big problem. It's just a 1 point difference. And could still potentially build that sanctuary round 5, but even though round 5 is super late game, it doesn't feel late enough for locking in that final stronghold sanctuary distance.
played a game recently where alchemists did a fair amount of digging early on and didn't build their stronghold until round 5, and they didn't score as high as they could have.
Right.
So I'll be curious, whether Glummy will want to build his stronghold this round and kind of speed up the placement of the Gloomy Workshop and his upgrading of digs.
Yeah.
Or whether he'll wait. We'll see. He has enough. He has enough.
Yeah. The other awkward thing is, though, like, when you build that stronghold, you get 12 power. How much can he take right now? He can take, if he down converts, he can take 6. It always just feels like a little bit of a wasted investment. I don't know, if you're a min-maxer like me, that always hurts a little bit, missing out on all that power. But there's nothing really he can do about it. And it said that I've disconnected from the game server. Have you disconnected?
Oh, yes. This happens every night at this time.
Oh, okay. Good fun.
Yes.
Good fun. So whose position are you liking here, Felice?
Oh. Well, would it be too obvious to say Chaos Magicians because they're in the lead right now? I'm actually really terrible at figuring out who's going to win because midway through the game, I don't have a sense for which factions tend to score late. I'm always surprised, for example, when engineers score 70 points in round 6 or something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm terrible at that kind of thing. But I do see everyone starting to build their few trading posts now. At least Chaos Magicians building a trading post. I'll be curious how many trading posts come out this round versus round 6.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I see that, Smooth's looking really healthy on the coins. And Steve's trying to do his best not to contribute to the Nomad coin fund. He hasn't built next to the trader cap yet. But looking at Chaos, looking at Alchemists, of course they've got coins if they want them, but that's looking pretty tight. No one really benefited too much from the coin income round of round 3, Priest to the Cults. And then Steve is also feeling the lack of coins. He sent Priest to Water for the 3-step. Clearly he wants to get to 4-step, so I imagine it's a Water 1 take here. But he's going to be using... Well, he's either going to be burning some power or using workers as coins to get that Water 1.
And Nomads just completed a town for the shipping tile, perhaps to get to E3.
Yeah. I think that's where they're going to be heading next. That's the cool thing about Nomads and with that stomp ability. I often find that they form towns earlier than other people. They just kind of have a steady stream of towns. Unlike witches and faction like mermaids, they often come, and alchemists, they come right at the end of the game and they get them all in one burst.
The other possibility is that, well, no, never mind. I was wondering whether Nomads would try to make it up to A12 to try to place something. But at this point, E3 makes the most sense, and then they can get their 3rd town, and then maybe they'll worry about the sanctuary.
It could be one of those why not both moments. They've got enough workers for a hard dig. They've got enough to do B6, A12, and E3 if they want to. Keep expanding their economy. We'll see. Because there's not really any, getting dwellings out now is great. There's no future dwelling round. So having as many out as possible is cool. I hate passing, though. I hate passing with no dwellings available. Because there becomes like, opportunities where a really key hex is under threat. And if you don't have a dwelling available, you have to go through building the trading post to get the dwelling free. And that's always so stressful, not having tempo. So we'll see what Smooth does here. And we see there's Life Gym contributing to the Nomad Fund, upgrading on D5. So he's decided, I don't want Water 1 here. I'm just gonna build these TPs in the TP round, get some coin income that way. He hasn't done his flight yet. So the safe flight would be to B4, just to keep sort of expanding his network that way. Or will we see the C2?
Interesting. Well, B4 could actually be a sanctuary template.
Oh, yeah. I didn't see that. Right. That's nice.
I mean, if Chaos Magicians don't dig A5, but I think Chaos would go for C4 before they take A5.
Yeah. And this just makes me wonder about that play earlier about taking the single dig last round on F9. If Steve had used those coins to build the temple for Water 1, he would have scored Water 1 three times. He would have 9 points more, and he would still have that dig that he wanted anyway from the Water Cult right now. So what is it?
So what's interesting is that right now the factions are not, most of the factions are not dig hungry.
Right.
So nomads aren't going to be digging a ton. I mean, they're down to 5 power tokens, right? So they're not going to be taking double dig, neither are alchemists. So it's completely frees it up for witches and chaos magicians now in the later game. So there's really no urgency now to take that double dig, whereas earlier in the game it was by demand.
It's a really good point, actually, and that's something that Steve's done well. He's managed his power. The early pass was at round 1, where he had all this power. He was able to take double dig, and he didn't have to burn power tokens. So he's going to have a monopoly on double dig if he wants it late game.
Right.
As long as he's got coins, as long as he's still got coins and not needing to do power to coin conversions, I think that's a really good point. He is on the dwelling scoring this round as well, which is always a bit tricky when it's a TP round, because like every TP you build is like 3 points, but you lose 1, so it's really only 2 points. But he's done well. He's only got one dwelling left, and that's one that doesn't provide worker income. So I often like leaving that anyway.
And who knows? Maybe someone will take Water 1 in the next round in order to use it for lots of TPs in round 6.
Yeah.
Right. Well, if there's one left over, it'll either go to Chaos or Witches.
Yeah, and we've seen Witches fly to C2. Now, I definitely had an embarrassing game as Witches where I thought that C2 and B4 were 3 hexes away. And I had this beautiful 16 network game, and I definitely had the workers to dig B3 or D1, and I just didn't count. I just didn't do math properly. So I know for a fact that Steve won't make this mistake because he watched me play that game. So he and he wouldn't have done that anyway. He doesn't make those sorts of mistakes like I do. But just all of that to say that he will need to take B3 or D1 to connect these structures. And I don't know if they're under contention here. I don't think that they are, but we'll see.
Interesting.
It is feeling a little bit painful for alchemists here, being shut out from the west. They feel very hemmed in by the other factions here. Maybe missing out on E4 that Nomads took away. That would have been a really nice connection hex to sort of pass through. Get down to G3, F2, F1, I1.
The other connection hex, well, would have to be C4 and then B3. Yeah, no,
It's
no, they
kind
can't
of
go.
ugly, yeah. I mean, they could
Yeah.
do a triple dig on D1, but triple dig that isn't getting you a town
Mm-mm.
it is a bit painful, but they might need to do that if they're wanting to have a massive distance here on their structures. Although we might see an
Well, what about
A10
A2?
stronghold and a G5 sanctuary. Is that going to be far enough? How many is
Hmm.
that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
So one thing I've definitely found about the this scoring, this stronghold sanctuary distance scoring, is that you want to build one of your structures but not the other, because once you've built the other, everyone has a target that they know
Yeah,
they need to beat.
yeah. You feel so
Um,
exposed, right, and vulnerable. Like everyone
yeah,
knows.
everyone knows they have to beat 7 or they have to beat
Yeah.
6. Yeah. So so yeah, it's not even, it's, next round's the big building round, so we're not likely to know. But soon they will have to draw their line in the sand.
It feels like that Oprah meme needs to come out. Scoring tiles. Everyone gets a scoring tile this game. It's just crazy. We see Chaos jump onto the ship scoring, which is just a locked-in 9 points for them. Silver River
Yeah.
sitting on 75 points, effectively
Yeah.
84. And here we see Steve take a double dig. He's got B1 and C1, so we see that he does have plans for a third town up there.
Oh.
Good fun. I think a sanctuary on C2 would be enough.
Mm-hmm.
He's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna get a neighbor further north.
Yes. You're right. You're right. That is smart. I was wondering why the need for 4 spaces, but it's because he's not going to get a neighbor at B2. Chaos isn't going to dig
Yeah,
B2. A2 isn't going to end up, Alchemist might not end up there because it would require them to get C4 and B3. So,
yeah.
yep.
So will we see the stronghold from Alchemists here? They would probably want to spend these four power before building it. Maybe taking workers. They've sort of been taking a really slow play round, just sending some priests to fire, not making it obvious what they're doing. And here we see them take workers. Now,
Yeah.
Steve has just spent 6 coins for that double dig, but thankfully this 6 coin tile is out there with a cult step. So that's pretty nice for him. I imagine we're going to see a pass here for that. And I imagine, he doesn't mind too much not getting onto a scoring tile. He's not going to outstall Alchemist here anyway, and the 6 coins are what the doctor ordered.
No. Alchemists have like 10 more turns or something.
And a 7-point pass, that's lovely. 61 points. With 2 Witches Towns to come, with
Yeah.
potentially Network. I mean, he's actually, he's looking like he could win Network. He could win the Sanctuary Stronghold distance. I think his big issue here is coins. He's going to need to up his ship 3 times. He's going to need to build a temple through to a sanctuary. That's going to get expensive, but maybe he's going to take some coin towns or ship towns to fund that.
So, and as I'm looking at all the factions that have passed, all of them have 3 TPs built, which is really nice for a TP round. So everyone has some amount of ink, which is nice. Makes you so much less dependent on getting the 7 coin power action.
I just realized I totally missed something quite big, and I don't know how I missed it, but witches have taken the Tukey town. Did you say something about that? I'm sorry if I wasn't listening.
Oh, no, I didn't. Man.
So it's looking like a lot of cult points here. That's a big takeaway from the
I
table.
Think, the last time I looked, witches were at 3 on water, and I looked over and they didn't have any priests, and I was lamenting the fact that they were 1 away from
Yeah.
getting that dig bonus. And I think that'll be important because if they need to dig G10, they should do it with this round dig, because it's possible that Chaos Magicians next round build their Chaos Portal.
Oh, and they could take it away just as it's
they could take it away.
Yeah.
There's only H3 and G10 left.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I actually quite like this Tukey Town here from Steve. And in a game where there's so many cult spots wide open and no one has sort of put their foot in the door saying, I'm the cult faction this game, taken away from Chaos Magicians. I'm not sure Chaos would have wanted it anyway, but yeah, it came with a bunch of power, and it comes with the dig that he wants. As we see Smoo considering a 2-for-1. So Alchemists are playing quite a tall game here. We see another TP here in the TP round.
Oh, and you saw the Stronghold come out?
Yeah.
A10. All right. I forgot. Did you mention that already and I wasn't listening?
No, I didn't mention it.
Okay.
Hey to the people in the chat. We had, sorry, I haven't been watching it, but we had my friend Zach, we had Firext, we had Jan or Jan. Jan said that they're so glad they didn't stream this one. Morning is hard. Yeah, so it's 9:15 p.m. in New Zealand, and I imagine it's quite late in Hawaii. What's the time for you, Felice?
Oh, it's 10:15.
Okay. Oh, we're only 1 hour apart. That's crazy.
Except for it's Monday here.
Yeah, in the past. Okay.
Yeah, how's Tuesday shaping up?
Oh, absolutely stunning day.
Okay. Then I'll have something to look forward to.
Yeah, I mean, we're close to Antarctica, so our stunning day means it's going to be like a heat wave for you. Okay,
it has been quite hot recently. Yeah.
Silver River, and Only Imagine is wondering about coins or double dig. They still would want to get a town, so this C4 would be quite crucial for those plans. The only one that could take take coins is Nomads, which is crazy. Which is the one power short on the coins action.
I mean, he could take coins and then upgrade his digging.
Yeah, there you go.
Although that would leave him with 4 workers.
This is kind of a scrappy, kind of points greedy Chaos Magicians game, just hit those pass tiles really, really well. And, don't worry too much about forming towns. So we could see the dig advance playing into that strategy. What about the normal network? Who do we think is on top here? Obviously, Nomads are a really strong network faction, as are Alchemists, as are Witches on this map. So it's a real uphill battle for Chaos Magicians to even compete on that. So do you think they just say, I'm not worried about network?
No. Well, let me think here. I think they've taken fewer digs than most of the other factions. Huh.
B4. Oh, okay.
Oh.
That makes Witch's life hard.
Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you were asking about network, with these factions, it's very possible that you would need to get 16 in order to be competitive for network.
Yeah, Yeah.
I recently played a game where it was nomads, alchemists, and witches, and three of those factions, and I think the fourth faction was dwarves, and three of the factions tied at 16 for first place in network.
What is that? Is that one or two structures left?
I think that's two structures left.
Yeah. Oh,
I
it's
would say.
madness. It's crazy.
Yeah. But here I see, B4, which is interesting because now witches have to connect.
And
Um,
and it's way harder for them to do that because they don't have any shipping, right? That was
yeah,
their
they
way
have
of
to
having
increase.
mobility. Yeah.
Yep. So it's increase ship twice and dig D1.
So I see
No.
4 power for Smoo and I see coins available. What do you think he's thinking about? He's thinking about not doing that. Hard digging B6. He yeah, okay, this is a clever play because he's still gonna get coins. He doesn't give
So
any
nice.
leech to witches, and he's still getting coins. Wow, that is lovely. Heads up play from
Yeah.
Smoo. He didn't panic. See, look, I was saying, just take the coins, but if you can get something else that's high priority and still get coins, that's clearly a better play.
I never trust myself to calculate whether or not other players are gonna give leech. So, see, Alex just gave witches enough leech to take coins.
Yeah, but they've already had their turn. And
Right,
alchemists. Okay,
right.
so they've just sanctuaried. And they've got a big distance here. So, yeah, that was the one we expected. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They've sanctuaried
Okay.
for the one step on each of the cults, the 8-point town, which has locked up fire. Beautiful play because fire is giving workers this round and 5 extra
Yep.
workers based on his presence in the fire cult. And that makes a lot of sense as to why he was throwing his early priests, well, not early, mid-game priest to fire, as he had this plans for a big round 6 after the cult income from fire. So I like this play from
Yeah.
Glummy.
Yeah, it looks great.
Fire 2 giving him 2 steps, and then the cult giving him the third. And yeah, and Glummy is also on the dwelling scoring. So gonna be some big points this round coming in. Will we see, Felice, will we see any more sanctuaries this round, or are people going to wait a little bit, bide their time?
Well, I don't think witches have enough coins to build a sanctuary on C2. So
Firex,
if
sorry, one
that's
thing. Firex has said that B6 blocks Alchemist Northern Town, which is true because they've already locked in their sanctuary. So they've locked in their sanctuary now, so and they wouldn't want to have them next to each other anyway.
right.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting.
Oh, yes, yes. No, that's a really good point. So alchemists can really only get two towns now. It's the southern town and then the town that they already made.
Yeah, yeah. And they're reliant on, well, they're reliant on a bridge or like a really ugly triple dig on F6 for that southern town.
Oh, right. Right. The bridge to I-7. I
Yeah.
assumed it was going to be a bridge to I-7, but the triple dig could also work. You know, Gloamy's got five workers coming in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's lovely. We've just seen the first dig advance. And will we see the Gloomy Workshop at all? he's already upped his shipping completely, so he won't get the benefit of the priest for that part, but maybe we'll see it for the other one.
I think we will see the Gloomy Workshop, if nothing else, to get out an extra structure because Network's going to be so competitive this game.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so Silver River really trying to lock down this town in the north, A5, B4.
Mm-hmm. So maybe he's not even going to worry about building a bridge to E5.
Yeah. And you can see Smoo has thought about where he wants to put his sanctuary. And he's thinking, well, if I'm doing a 3-power structure somewhere, I might as well make a town of it, right? So
yeah,
this is looking good. And I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think it's one further than the Alchemist one. It looks like they'd be just next to each other. But I think it is one step further. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. A11 to F4 is one step further. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so that's a nice play. And look at all his coins. The one concern for Smoo here is that he's already formed 2 towns and he's got 55 points. Whereas, witches have 2 towns incoming.
Mm-hmm.
But he is on the pass tile for the TP scoring, and he's probably going to have them all out. We'll see.
It's probably because he wasn't able to get Earth 1 this game.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so maybe, not sure what he's planning, whether he's able to get another favor tile this round, but Air 1.
Oh, you just cut out there. I think you said Air 1.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, Air 1 would help him boost his points, but it seems like if he's going to build a sanctuary up in that northeastern area, that he'd want to start upgrading there.
Yeah, totally right. And it is the sanctuary round this round, but I don't see Smoo building that this round. I think it's just going to be wait till next round. He might even be able to increase his distance by 1 and do an expensive TP on A12 if he has to in response to another faction. Although it looks like Steve's locking in the C2 spot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So the real issue for Steve here is, yes, he's going to have the distance if he connects. And that's a big if, because he's going to need to upgrade shipping twice and then dig down at D1.
Well, so he already has one ship town, right? So he made a ship town in the lower right.
Yep.
Which is great. He put down his landscape. I noticed that the second favor tile he took wasn't water 1, but it's fire 2. Which makes sense because I wonder if anyone else is going to want fire 2.
Yeah, and it comes with a worker.
Yeah.
And he's going to be using it for that last town, I think.
Yeah.
And I think his window to take Water 1 was quite a bit earlier in the game, and he did a bunch of TP upgrades without it. Still hitting the TP round, so I think I like that play. He needs to get that shipping earlier rather than later to guarantee that connection. So
here's a possibility. He could up shipping 1 more time this round, and then he could hard dig D1, and then use his Witch's Flight to fly there.
Yeah, I like it.
Because Nomads have already used their Stomp.
Yeah,
yep.
I think that's what we will see. That's a really good call. I think we're going to see that play. It's just too stressful. Each turn that goes by where he doesn't have D1, he'll just be getting an extra grey hair on his head, right? He's just going to be aging really, really quickly. He's going to be focused in on that one big time.
Yeah.
And the moment he gets D1, I start thinking, wow, this is looking like a really good, strong Witches game here. They have, well, they're definitely going to win that Sanctuary and Stronghold distance. I don't see, well, actually, sorry, I missed the fact that Chaos had built theirs. And
Okay,
of course, they
E5
used the
and
Chaos
H7.
portal on B4. Right.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 isn't going to be enough. 7 won't be enough there for Silver River. Maybe he was just doing it to hit the track.
Yeah, that's gonna be 0
Yeah.
if witches connect.
Do we see a block from Nomads here on D1? Just a hard dig. Do we see it?
From Nomads, I don't think they have enough workers to hard dig D1, do they?
They would have to use a priest. Not to be able to build a dwelling, just to change the color.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know if we'd see it. We probably won't see it because he would turn it red for Chaos. But he might be thinking, look, this is my he wins the Sanctuary Stronghold if witches don't connect. So
Right.
If they do connect, then he's losing 6 points and potentially losing network points as well. So it does sound like a mean play, but it might not be a bad play.
Well, they're friends, right? So
More likely to do it.
they'll have to answer to each other.
Yeah. I wonder if I should chat. Send a chat. Do it. He doesn't do it. And we see the hard dig. He needed an extra shipping, but yeah. Smooth saying he always had B3.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So Steve is one shipping away from connecting. That last bit of shipping is just trivial. He'll be able to get that with a town or, with some coins and the priest that he has.
Ship towns are gone. Yeah, the ship towns are gone, but he will be able to get that.
And there's going to be a pass tile for witches. So everyone is going to be on a pass tile here. If nomads pass. Wait. They decided to build a temple when they could have passed and got onto the ship scoring.
What did they take? Oh, water 2.
Yeah, it looks like they're missing out on a pass tile because of that. Interesting. What are your thoughts on the water 2 take and missing out? I mean, I guess they weren't going to... Well, they did need 3 shipping to connect. He's just said, I'm a moron. Yeah. Okay. Painful. So why do you think water 2 and not air 1?
Water 1? Well, let's see. So, water 1 would have been 3 points, right? He
air
has
1?
one more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Air 1 would have been good.
Yeah.
But doesn't get him very much in terms of, let's see. So Air 1 would have gotten him
7 points?
7.
Yeah. The water 2, I mean, does he want an extra worker? What's he doing here?
priest to water.
Yeah, collects a priest. I'm stumped here. Not sure what's going on.
I mean, the Colts have been quite open,
Yeah.
right? So he could potentially get second place in 2 Colts and first place in 1. Just because if we look at the priest income, Chaos Magicians have 1 priest for next round. Witches have 2, but one of them is going to have to go towards shipping. Although there's still 2 priest towns available. Alchemists need 1 more priest to upgrade their digging unless they build their workshop.
And we see alchemists who sit on 16 workers take the coins action away from the table. I love it. I love it. It's basically just 7 points, and it's denying. Look at witches, even chaos. They would love those coins. I think this is a really good play from Glummy.
And he's going to use them too.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's always so tempting to take the workers, just because you can use them, you can snowball them into more workers, getting power each time you dig. But I think this coins action is a lot more sensible than the worker take when sitting on 16 workers plus 3 priests, which end up being fancy workers.
I mean, at 7 points, he doesn't have to convert to coins. So
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And just to recap a little bit on what happened at the end of last round, we saw that Smoo sent his priest to the Earth Cult. So I guess he thinks there's an easy 4 points for him there. And he used his cult bump there also.
He has an extra cult bump on his pass tile. And he has 2 priests. So yeah, his cult position is going to be improving. Oh wait, no, he has to increase shipping twice.
Nomads do, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And Silver River did quite a few digs in this A5 B4 area last round. And it's still looking like there's a lot of work to do still to form this town. He can't have any 3 power structures there. Does he have... I mean, I guess he can take Fire 2 and build a TP on A5 and then, hard dig A4 or something like that. But it's still looking like a fair bit of work for this first town, Chaos Magicians.
Oh boy. Yeah, and he's 1 power away from a double dig if he needs to dig C4.
Yeah, I imagine he'd probably just go A5 and dig A4 for one dig instead of 2.
Yeah.
But we'll see. So we do see the temple, and is he going to cheese some big 3,
Fire 2.
Yeah.
Fire 2.
Fire 2, and is he going to take a 3-step somewhere? Oh, it was a water 1 take. I see. Okay. Well, that's good. Always good.
Yep.
So it looks like witches will be winning the Stronghold Sanctuary, with nomads coming in second and alchemists coming in third there. In terms of overall network, it's a bit of a tighter race, I think. Witches have 4 structures on their board. They could easily get down to 2 structures. And could they get down to 1? Maybe, but probably not with all the shipping they need. Well, 1 shipping they need to do. And it looks like nomads and witches are in similar positions in terms of the overall network race. Although alchemists have a bunch of structures still to build, but you can't count them out with 16 workers. What are your thoughts on the overall network here?
Well, it looks like nomads and witches are going toe to toe.
Yeah.
Alchemists, I have no idea. I have to assume that they can also catch up. I would not underestimate them with this many resources. Um, it looks like Chaos is a little further behind with not quite the same arsenal as Alchemists. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking Chaos will probably be last in overall network.
Yeah. As well as Stronghold Sanctuary. So they're going to really
Yeah.
need to get some. I mean, they've played the track beautifully. They've played the pass tiles beautifully, but it might be a case of just not enough in-game scoring, and that shows how dynamic this this extra tile is. You know, you can play a beautiful game, but it comes up short because all those extra points are available to the other players. And it's not looking like Silver River's going to get too many cult points here. Looks like he's got the win on Earth, but maybe a second place on air. But yeah. Here we've got Steve having to think about what he wants to do now. So he's already got himself Fire 2. Meaning that Sanctuary will complete the town. The Sanctuary and the fly to A1. I'm wondering if he's thinking about, can he fly somewhere else and get another structure out of it? But he would need to free up 2 dwellings. What's he done? Built a TP to free up the dwelling. Cool.
Yep.
And again, we see Steve with just all of this power in his power bowls. He's just got a ton of leech this game.
Yeah, he's going to need all those coins.
Yeah, yeah. That's right. I'm really interested to see what Glummy does here.
Yeah, when you have this large mass of resources, there's so many different combinations of ways you could go. And actually it's probably one of the things to predict or figure out what the most optimal moves are.
Right. Yeah. I was wondering about 2 more towns for Alchemists, which would require the bridge to A7. But this just seems a bit ugly. Too many triple digs.
I was thinking he could make a 4-space town in the southeast, I7, I8, I9, I10, and then F6, G7, F7, G8.
That's better than the bridge. Yeah.
Although I have no idea whether that would be enough.
I mean, so just counting it now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 digs. 9 workers worth of digs. Of course, he gets power back every time he digs, but he might only get, 3 workers back out of those 9 digs.
Okay.
So then what would he be left with? He'd be left with 8 workers. It would be fun to try. I mean, there's 2 worker towns there. Worker power action still available.
And he has Fire 2. So
yeah.
Those towns are a little bit cheaper.
Yeah. I think we're just going to see the bridge town here. We could see a late network push from Alchemists as well. C4, B2, A2, that sort of thing.
Right. But if you're going to do C4, which is a single dig, why not just do G7 and I9, which is also single dig? Oh.
Yeah, but then he would still have to do the F6 triple dig and the I10 double. Maybe. Okay. We might see it.
No, you're right. And his stronghold, his 3-point structure is up at A10. I think I'm being too optimistic.
It's really hard to know, like, as alchemists looking at those resources and trying to figure out how much can they actually achieve. He can take workers here, which is just lovely. I mean, right at the start of the round, I talked about the fact that he could have taken workers and he grabbed coins instead, which I think was a good play. But he might have his cake and eat it too here. He might get workers as well.
Yeah. And the thing is, if he takes a worker town with one, I'll let someone else calculate that.
yeah. It's probably just going to be bridge, but I would love to see the workers. So we've seen Smoo has built his sanctuary where we expected on A11, and he just took the water 3. So it looks like he wants some of these cult points that are on offer, and he's done the expensive TP to form the town. What town's it going to be? We'll find out very soon. There is still a cult step town, which is usually quite efficient, and he's gone for the priest, also very efficient in terms of how many points you get out of it.
Yeah.
But you feel like he just needed that extra scoring tile, you know? He's going to be ending this game around 80 points, which feels like it's not going to be enough, even though he's got a lot of in-game points coming his way. He has used all his resources to form this town. So he's not going to do a late network push, not really. He's just got to up his ship 2 times.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much all of his resources going into that.
And then he has 2 cult moves left.
Oh, we see it undo. He obviously was doing the calculations. I see part of the problem was that he was locked out of Fire 2. Maybe he would have preferred to take Fire 2 with the Sanctuary, and then you've got those extra workers that you can use to try and push for network and build dwellings. So he undid his turn. He hasn't done the expensive TP. I wonder what he's thinking on here. Maybe trying to get some power first before doing that.
Yeah.
Did we see... Yeah, okay, Glummy did take the workers. Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
Chaos built on A4.
Man.
What town are they going to take?
They formed this town. They finally formed this town, but...
Worker town.
It was costly. It was a very costly town for Silver River. What will the workers do here? Maybe an extra TP in the TP round.
6 points.
And I think this has been one of the fascinating things about this extra scoring. All of these in-game points on offer, and we haven't really seen people hit this TP round that hard. You know what I mean? Like, normally you see round 6 TPs, I'm going to try and build 3 or 4 TPs, you know, and you get all of those points, especially with Water 1, you know, 3 TPs is 18 points worth of TPs, which is a lot. We see that normally in round 6 TP rounds, but, you know, everyone's like trying to push for these last end-game points. Are we going to see it? Are we going to see it? We've seen the triple dig on F6.
Yeah.
So Glummy wants 2 towns here. He's obviously got his calculator out. He's figured out how much he needs, and he thinks, yeah, I've got enough.
Yeah.
You love to see it.
Now, it usually, you know, the fact that he can calculate this in like 5 minutes, it usually takes me like 30 to 40.
Are you an async player?
Oh, yeah.
Cool. I have not yet tried that out. It terrifies me. I would just get so much turn angst. You know, I really would just want to take my move. But I imagine it'd be quite fun also, you know, thinking over your moves for a while. Is it sort of like you take an hour to take a turn, or is it like you take a day? I don't even know kind of the time scale on the thing.
In ASIC games?
Yeah.
It really depends on the games. So I've had some games where we're taking, you know, a collective total of like 40 turns a day.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and then but these turns are sometimes it's just leech acceptance, or you're doing things that are pretty standard, right? Yes, accept leech. No, don't accept leech.
Yeah.
Send your
Yeah.
priest. So I would say like 80% of the moves are pretty standard moves, but the other 20% where you have to make a decision on what you're going to do, you can take your time to make those decisions, and um, do calculations if you need to, all of that. And so in a real-time game, you just tend to estimate, or if you're really fast at calculating, I wouldn't be surprised if Glummy did calculate everything to figure out whether or not he could build, two more towns. I know that I can't calculate that quickly, and so I just tend to estimate, oh, it'll be about this much, or it'll be about this much, and sometimes you're off, and it's very costly.
Yeah, I mean, oh wow, it sounds like quite a different experience. Really, it sounds like a meal of a game. You're sort of chewing on it for a while. So you said that there would be around about what 40 actions in a day. Is that even one round of Terra Mystica, or is that less than a round?
Oh, no, that's less than a round.
Right.
But that would be one of the faster games. I've also seen games where, each person takes one turn a day, and those games can take, over a month. So it depends on your settings. You can choose what your preference is.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun though, but it's very different. It's a lot more, uh, gosh. Well, it's just a very different. And the other thing that usually doesn't happen in turn-based games is you don't tend to play tilted. It happens a little bit more in real life games because,
Mm.
maybe something happens and it inflames you, or you were surprised by it, or you didn't like another person's move. In a turn-based game, you can, turn that off and step back, think about your options, and
Mm.
make your decision when you're more clear-minded. But in a real-time game, you're like,
Yeah, there's no
yeah,
time.
take
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
totally
no
right.
time. You have to absorb all of that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a cool point. So we see that witches did take. I was wondering if they used the Raven's Blunder thing, but they didn't. They took Earth 3 to lock up Earth Cult, and isn't this just a stunning cult game here from Steve? Look at this.
Yeah.
He's got 2 second places, and he's going to have 2 first places. I mean, gotta clap my boy
Wow.
here. I mean, and so it's an amazing cult game, and he's just gonna get all of the in-game points, all of the in-game points that he
Yeah.
wants. He's got
Wow.
them.
And what's interesting too is that he sent the same number of priests to cults as nomads did,
Yeah,
right?
2 key town and a 1 key and a cult step 1 key as
Oh,
well.
that's right.
So he's
Okay.
grabbed 3 steps on each of the cults from those towns. And yep, lock up. Yeah, good on you, mate. This is a solid
Yeah.
comeback from Steve. If people remember the standings, I'll just pull them up here. He's sitting right at the bottom. We know he's a better player than that. So this is just him showing. I'm not saying that he's won yet. We have no idea who's won yet, but this is just showing the kind of caliber of player that he is. And little old me questioning his decisions all throughout the game. But he's pulled out a really solid performance here. It's really cool. And progress on the Alchemists. Looks like they're a TP away from their second town. And there's little handshakes going on over here, I9, I10. Just don't even look in that direction, guys. Chaos Magicians, Witches, there's nothing going on over here. Don't worry about it. So Smoo is running low on resources here. What's the plan? Is it just get that last bit of shipping? He's trying to contest Earth. Oh, yes. Okay, yeah. He's got water 2, and he had the cult step pass tile. Yeah. Can Silver River just respond with bumping his priest to earth as well? Don't see why not. Cool. Okay, here we have a town formed for alchemists. Yeah, Jan. Jan, you have to tell me how to pronounce your name. Is it Jan or Jan? Or Jan? I'm sorry. Has just said, or you could play Bullet. So Bullet is the other extreme Terra Mystica. So it's Terra Mystica, and you only have about 4.5 to 5 minutes to take all of your actions. So you're taking 45 actions in about 5 minutes. So if you do the math, it's not many seconds for each turn. But I just find it exhilarating. That's also a game where you don't tilt, because it's just so silly and fast that you just don't have time to brood, and you just you go into it thinking, well, anything crazy could happen, you know. I'm just gonna go off intuition alone. What feels right here? I'm not gonna get my calculator out. I'm just gonna do what I think is best. And it is a lot of fun. So I would recommend playing Bullet. It's definitely a different beast. Jan. Okay, thanks, Jan. Appreciate it.
Do you have a favorite Bullet faction that you like to play?
Yeah, so I I played a lot of Alchemists, and then I realized that was really silly, because you have to do all of these coin conversions, and you have to also do a whole bunch of power conversions as well, because you keep getting power. So one of the things with Bullet is you always forget about converting power, and you often just overproduce just because you don't have the time to do all those conversions. So the factions that I like are ones that kind of can just pass early and just do all their stuff and pass. So Fakirs are great. You know, they often...
Swarmlings.
Yeah, and Swarmlings also really good. Just get on that pass tile. Make sure that you're not taking too much time. Because the unwritten rule with Bullet is the person that took the longest amount of time, they lose the game. So no matter how many points they get, they've just lost. There are other variations. There are other, you know, where you lose some points, or you do like a grid, a table where you've got, you know, 1 point for the fastest and -1 point for the slowest, and then like 3 points for the winner, and you do a tournament competition like that. But yeah, I like Fakirs, I like Swarmlings, and Bullet. Definitely really fun.
Okay, so I'm catching up now to the game. I feel sorry for all of our viewers if they want us to talk more about the game, because we've been just kind of chatting about all kinds of interesting topics. So Chaos has made it up to 9 on Earth. They've passed. And then, let's see, Witches, where did they put their last? They increased their shipping. And did they do anything else significant?
Yeah, we just got some silly comments in the chat. Nom 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 nom. There's Life Gym is eating up the in-game points. How about Felice? Should we jump into the chat with them now that it's winding down and see if they've got anything to say? Cool.
That'd be great.
Great. I am not even sure if there's a chat. I don't know where they are. Okay, well, we're here. I don't know where they are.
Finishing up. Nobody wants to miss this scoring animation.
Yeah, we want to see the live reactions to the scoring. I haven't done any math. I don't think it's very fun to do math on stream to try and say this person's winning. I mean, of course, we're going to say who's winning network and things like that, but I have no idea who's actually going to win the game. It looks like Alchemists are getting in their last town here with one priest to spare. You love to see it. So good. Calculated well by Glummy.
All right.
And that is actually going to be quite healthy for Glummy's score because Glummy is on the big building tile. So that's going to bring in another 8 points this round. No Air 1. Air 1 wasn't super popular this game.
And we have Silver River, Smoo, and Steve have all joined our chat.
Oh, cool. Great. Do you guys want to say hi?
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
G'day.
What a game. How we doing?
Mate.
How we feeling?
Good.
So we're going to get the live reactions very soon. Who do we think's got this? Is it Alchemist?
I think I've got fourth sewn up pretty well.
No idea. It's always hard with that extra scoring to
Yeah. Oh, man.
math it out.
Yeah. It really is. Were you guys chatting throughout the game? Or nah?
No.
Nah. Okay. Got
No.
to stay tense. Got to stay in the zone. I like it. It was a fascinating game. The extra layer of the Stronghold Sanctuary scoring was quite fascinating. Glummy, do you want to let us know what you're thinking adding in the Fire and Ice scoring? Is Glummy in here?
No, he's the
No,
one.
he hasn't joined yet.
Okay. Ooh. It looks like Glummy has got it. And a big second place for Steve. And oh, wait, we've got more scoring.
More to come.
I jumped the gun. Oh, 163 each. What's the official tiebreak? Does anyone know the official tiebreak?
I think he's got a coin. He's got a coin, doesn't he?
No. Oh, we might have to do the can't stop game live on stream. All right, it's got to happen. Oh, he does have a coin.
No, but he needs two.
Yeah. Okay, we've got a
He needs
tie.
two for...
Okay, are you up for a game of last stop? I'm not sure if this is official, but we need to have a winner for the stream, and we might have to retcon it if there's an official ruling.
Looking at the rolls now, I don't see anything on tie breaks.
Yeah, nice game, everybody.
Hey, Felice, did you want to ask any questions about some of the lines that people took? Any questions from the game?
Yeah, actually, so Silver River, I'm curious, how did you decide to make a forest-based town without your sanctuary? What was kind of the deciding factor there? Was it, because, I mean, it offered you the advantage of also taking B4 from the witches and making it a little bit harder for them to connect. Were there other...
How you doing? It caused some anxiety, man, that B4 anxiety dig.
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I was never thinking of making any towns this game the way it turned out. But I thought, I could at least try to... Because witches were doing really well, so I thought I'd just take away one of their hexes and hope that alchemists would block the other connection.
Yeah, I went for the 3-town route. So, I don't know. I mean, my game was pretty much exact. I had absolutely nothing left.
Yeah, it was beautiful the way you calculated things. When was the point where you decided, no, this is a third town here. I'm not going to take that bridge, and I'm going to build this third town.
It was open till the last round, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought, okay, I'll upgrade my deck, and then I'll see if anybody takes my f6, and nobody took it. So I was like, okay, there's a chance for the third town. And then it was just TP dwelling. So I just went one after the other. Yeah, it was pretty okay. I mean, I had calculated the workers, but I wasn't sure that with so much coin conversion whether it was a good deal or not. But I don't know. It's so hard with alchemists, and then, but it turned out to be pretty good.
I want to go back to Silver River here because we were wondering about the auction. We were looking at the fact that there was an extra thing for in-game scoring, and Chaos Magicians don't typically tend to do super well with networky type play, and with an early Sanctuary they're often like kind of locked in. They can't extend that distance super far. So what were you thinking with Chaos Magicians here? What line were you thinking of?
Well, yeah, turns out it was the wrong decision to bid on them so early. So I was just thinking about the last game that I played where it was Chaos Musicians with I think yellow and yellow green.
Yeah.
So well, I was just thinking it wasn't that bad in that game, so it might work out, but I guess it didn't.
It's all good. I think you played a lovely game. That town in the north was very hard fought. You're chipping away at it over the course of the game, and you got it done, which was cool to see. There was a time when we wondered if you were gonna build the stronghold early and just put that landscape on G10 to stop the witch's town, which would have been quite funny. But he got the Cult Spade just in time. Yeah. And I want to ask Steve about his game plan here, because there's a few things that I thought were quite interesting. The 2-key town, that was just open, and did you just think, wow, here we go, this is a whole bunch of power, no one's got priests on the cults? What were you thinking with this 2-key town? Because it turned out to be awesome in my opinion.
Yeah, I managed to get some tempo on the Colts, and so it was sitting there open, and I liked the power. So the reason I took the 2-key town was in the trading post round, and I built that third trading post in my middle town, E5, and I knew that it would give me enough power to, if I flew to C2, it would give me enough power for the double dig up there and to start forming that sanctuary town. So it was like it gave me tempo in the Colts, it gave me the double dig if I flew to C2, so it all kind of all panned out. So and then of course after 2-key town you start looking at the Colts going, okay, I could actually I could do quite well here. So yeah, it kind of worked out. So yeah, that was the thinking. The 2-key town was available, the rewards on the Colts were okay. I needed the dig off. I wasn't going to be taking water 1, so I needed, because I threw the priest to water, I needed another step to get that dig, because I really wanted to get the that dig down on the red G10. So yeah, the cult rewards were helpful for me, but really it was powering up the double dig for the sanctuary town.
Yeah,
that was the clincher for me.
Yeah, that was really cool. And there were a few moments here where it was pretty dicey. You managed to fly over to C2, which was lovely, and then Silver River decides, I'll take B4, thank you very much. And, it's not too much of an issue, but the fact was at the time you had no shipping. So, you needed to up your shipping, and you weren't super rich on the coin, in the coin department. You needed to up your shipping twice and then do a hard dig on D1 to be able to fly to D1. What were you thinking when B4 was taken, Steve? I think we've already talked about this, but I just thought it was so interesting.
Yeah, my game was in the balance there for sure. I mean, obviously everything was hanging on the final points.
Yeah.
My game was hanging on those final in-game points, and if I don't connect, then I'm fourth. So
yeah,
take that B4 was rough. I flew to C2 thinking that I could be under pressure, but I thought, you know what, I've got D1, B3, and B4. They're all connection hexes. I've got 3. One's a natural hex.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 3 opportunities to connect really.
Mm-hmm.
So I risked it, but man, I was sweating it. And then even I mean, because Silver River had the first action that turn, and I was like, take coins, take coins, take coins, take coins.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, and he took all his time, and I'm like, oh, he's really considering taking the hex from me, and then he did it. Yeah.
And I want to ask
I think
Smoo about his perspective on this as well, because there could have been a hard dig on D1. Now, of course, B3 was still available, but it was one extra shipping, which was looking like a hard sell for Witches to get that. Were you considering the hard dig on D1, because it could have won you network, it could have won you the Stronghold Sanctuary distance.
Yeah, I thought about D1, but there was no way I could stop B3, and witches needed 3 shipping to connect anyway, so they were always going to have
They would do it in the last
the
round.
opportunity to
Yeah.
get to B3.
And Alchemists weren't
I mean-
threatening that. Like in another game,
No.
maybe Alchemists would play like a co-op style and say, "Yeah, you take D1, I'll take B3. We'll stop them together." Yeah,
But they were 4 tiles away.
Yeah, yeah.
From C5. Now, obviously, looking back, I could have dug D1 as the 4th tile of that town instead of G4, but yeah, didn't think that far ahead.
I also wanted to ask Remy about your round 1 and round 2 lines. So obviously, you ended round 1 with 2 yellow hexes available because of the stronghold. Was there a point where you decided actually, why did you build the stronghold? Were you considering doing the temple?
I thought
there?
I was going to get
First
workers, to be honest. And Silver had enough actions that he could delay upgrading his sanctuary until after I'd passed. So it turns out if I hadn't built when I'd done the double dig, I would have had the power to take workers in round 1. And it kind of
yeah.
So and then it was in round 2. I thought I had it mapped out, but then I built the trading post to get the
Landscape.
landscape on D4. And looking back, that was definitely a mistake. Should have just been 2 dwellings because I was short on workers every round after that. So yeah, not my greatest game, but like I said, now it means next week's game is live for the championship, I guess.
So I'm just going to pull those standings up, and I'd love to see if Felice had any other questions. So I'll just go over these standings first. So we've been told by Super that the winners tied. They get 4.5 points each. So what does that put us on? It puts us on Smoo with 12, Glummy with 14.5, Felice on 4, but she's just had her bye. Silver River would get 1 point from this game. Yeah, so Silver River on 5, and there's Life Gym on 4.5. So it looks like we've got a battle for 3rd place amongst Felice, Silver River, and there's Life Gym, and then the battle at the top between Smoo and Glummy. So we've got 1 game to go next week, so that's going to decide everything. Felice, any questions you got for any other kind of last thoughts or questions?
No, I thought this was a fun game to watch, and some really, I really enjoyed watching Chaos Magicians go around the river.
Yeah.
The fjord. That was a lot of fun, and then to see Alchemists do it, and see how the connection worked out for the witches. So I thought it was an exciting game. Really enjoyed it, and thank you all.
Thank you so much for casting and carrying me with your superior knowledge of Terra Mystica and lines. It was really a pleasure to cast with you. And thanks to all the players. You guys all played really, really well. And it was such an exciting and interesting game. I know as a player, I don't necessarily love the Fire and Ice scoring, but I love watching it as a viewer. Like, it just ramps up the spice quite a bit.
Yeah, thanks for casting, you two. It's awesome that
Yeah,
you guys did
thank
that.
you.
No
Yeah, I
worries.
look forward to watching that.
Yeah. So who's
Just-
on bye next week, and who's,
Yeah, well,
who's
Glummy
deciding?
Glummy's going into the bye with his lead.
Oh,
Watch and hope he hangs on to it.
okay. I missed that. So Glummy's on 14.5, And so Smoo
winning.
needs to get second to win.
Second to win.
Yeah. Smoo gets second,
Yep.
Smoo wins. So Smoo, is that going to play into your strategy a little bit? Are you going to play for second? Are you going to like just make sure that you're not coming third or fourth, or will it just be go for the win?
I'll probably go for the win at the start of the game anyway. I mean, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's also Smooth's home game, right?
Yeah, it's also my home game, so no, it's not going to be anything weird.
Are you going to give us a little hint at what we might expect to see next round? No pressure.
It'll probably be the format that I've played 100 games of, rather than the other ones.
Okay, so people have to do their research. Check out Smooth's account, see what he's played the most of. I think I have an idea what that could be.
Revised for sure. It's revised.
Yeah.
Revised. Prioritized factions.
Random
Absolutely.
factions. Very good.
I love it.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for the viewers as well, the people commenting in chat and hanging out with us. It's been a blast. Thanks so much to Felice and everyone else.